Hello YouTube. This is a bit unrelated, giving you my Ghostrick Deck profile. Now, I know that this looks really weird. Like, there are no staples in this deck. I mean, there's a few staples. There's one Veiler, one Heavy, a Reborn, a book, but like that's it. Nothing else is a staple, which I think that makes sense for this deck, and I'll get into why later. So first, let's go over the monsters. 2 Stein. I know a lot of decks run 3, but I don't know. I just haven't had the need for 3 yet. I can recycle him easily enough with Avarice, and also Recurring Nightmare if I really need to. And I can also get him back with Krane Crane and bounce him back for Birdman. Like, there's enough ways to get him back. Reborn. I don't need to worry too terribly about getting him into my hand. Birdman. Birdman is actually a really powerful card in this deck because it can grab up lanterns and specters that are already used, and then it can also grab up stuff that Krane Crane specials. And I don't know, I just think all of those plays are really powerful, and then I go into things either Gaia Knight or the Beast God Synchro, which I think it's pretty good. I mean, it bounces face-up stuff, so it's really good against extra deck, and then I can also bounce lanterns or specters with him. So I really like Birdman in this deck, plus he's level 3, easy overlays if I really want to. 2 Jiangshi, again, I know a lot of decks will run 3, and just the same thing, I haven't had the need for him because I have enough protection where I can plus off of him usually well enough by himself. And if I don't, well then, you know, Jiangshi, search Spectre, draw anyway. Like, you go through 2 cards by setting this one, so it's really good. Krane Crane. I choose Krane Crane over Tour Guide because I don't have to, I get 2 uses out of it instead of just 1. And he makes bouncing stuff with Birdman really powerful because you can't do that with Tour Guide. So I really like Krane Crane, and I think that in this deck particularly, any deck that can run Birdman really should run Krane Crane instead of Tour Guide. That's how I feel about it. 1 Witch, just because, I mean, normally I really almost don't even like to run the 1, but it's too good along with Swords. And if there's a problem card that I just need face down, like this gets over Dark Armed. It's sort of the Tsukiyomi problem where it's not the best effect in the world, but because it fits the theme of the deck well enough, like I should almost run Tsukiyomi over this, but this is level 2, and I can go into some of my random rank 2s. I probably should use a second Gachi. Anyways, 2 Snow Maiden. I really do like Snow Maiden in this deck because I can ram problem cards and then they're just gone. And it's not so big of a deal with Ghostrick House if I ram problem cards. Yeah, I just think that, I don't know, Snow Maiden's good. It's good to set. It's good to ram. Well, perhaps I should use different language. Good to crash. Get that out of your heads, you guys. Okay, 3 Lantern, 3 Spectre. This is just, these cards are absurd. This is a Necro Gardener from the hand that gives you field advantage. Like, it's Battle Fader that doesn't end the battle phase. If it ended the battle phase, it would be really broken. But Lantern's really good. Spectre's really good. Lots of pluses, good field advantage. 1 Veiler, just because, I don't know, I feel like you need Veiler, at least 1, in this meta. Heavy because heavy. Like, I don't have to worry about my own back row terribly because a lot of it's searchable. And the stuff that isn't, well, I can actually plus off of destroying this card, which is an interesting tech. I only saw it because I was looking for stuff to combo with Magical Hats that wasn't Wild Tornado. I really like Z1 actually at 1 because it can grab me used up field spells if I don't have a Stein, or and it can also grab me Swords of Concealing Light, which is the power play of this deck. So I can set it in my spell and trap if I draw it, or I can get it out of my deck with Magical Hats, which is really powerful. If they wind up hitting it, then that's okay. I usually wind up keeping my monster on the board if that happens, so it's good in most situations. It can sit dead, but more often than not, you're going to have a use for it. 1 Pot of Avarice, just because these wind up in the grave so much. And yeah, basically your grave fills up with this deck, because these just go, and so do these. 1 Recurring Nightmare, I kind of want to run 2, but I don't know, I haven't had the need for it yet. I'm thinking, I don't know what I would take out if I wanted to run another one. 1 Reborn, because Reborn, I figure you gotta run at least 1 MST. I know that E-Drags hardly run back row. Prophecy doesn't really run threatening back row besides Fate. Or Royal Decree in some builds, but I haven't seen that very often. Meta, I mean, I have the other two sided. I might even throw in Night Beam sided. My side deck's not done, by the way. I only recently took out this... Oh, I didn't even talk about Morphing Jar number 2. Gosh, you guys. Morphing Jar number 2, I think I mentioned this in another video where I used the deck. Morphing Jar number 2 along with Waboku, which I've temporarily taken out. I'm testing it out. But along with Waboku and Panic and Out, like, this guarantees it goes off, which is really good against Extra Deck. Yeah, so book is book. You can set your own stuff if you're desperate. Mostly I want to be setting their stuff. Swords of Concealing Light lets you hit them directly for 2 turns when you have Ghostrick House, unless they start summoning stuff, in which case, well, you know, they're summoning stuff. And they have to use resources to get rid of this, or they just play around it, in which case you're usually forcing them to make a play they don't want to make. 3 Ghostrick House, just because this is a really good field spell. I wouldn't be surprised to see it in other decks. It's just really good. Have battle damage and effect damage, like, you're gonna be the one taking the least amount of damage. I almost want to like run this in watts, but that would make the deck super slow because you rely on your poke in watts. 1 Needle Sealing, only because of magical hats. Like, oh, hang on, will it work if I? Oh, it will. Neat. If I magical hats and needle sealing, like, good game. I didn't even realize that I could do that. Too good. 1 Out. I know a lot of decks like more. I haven't run into a lot of situations where I need out, like, desperately. There have been a few times where, like, I'm up against Prophecy and they've got out like 2 Priestess, and I can see other situations like Inzectors or Blaster or whatever in E-Drags. But I mean, maybe I'll just side the other copies. I'll side maybe 1 copy. I don't know. I still have to figure out Ghostrick Out, but I do know I really like 3 Panic. Just because it's just good with Jiangshi, and it's good with Morphing Jar number 2, and it sets their stuff. Like, you can stop so much. I don't know, I really think that this is a powerful card. It's sort of like a negate attack, except it gets more stuff off the board and it's face down. And then 2 Magical Hats. I know that Magical Hats... Here's the crux. Here's the thing with this build. Magical Hats is not the most consistent card in the game. Like, it really can cause some problems if you draw the cards that you want to set with Magical Hats, and then they can just wind up hitting their cards anyway in the battle phase. Like, it's not the best card in the game. But I feel like it really is worth running because, well, you get to get out your Wild Tornadoes, you get to get out your Z1, you get to plus, and it thins your deck out really fast. Like, you get 2 cards out of your deck. Normally, a lot of cards wish they could grab 2 cards, whatever 2 cards that you want out of your deck. I mean, it's not a monster, obviously, but you can grab your Z1s and Wild Tornadoes, and you don't want to draw this, so you like to set this with Magical Hats. What I like to do sometimes, if I if I open this or something, like, I'll select these 2. Like, if I can't use my Wild Tornadoes and Z1, I'll use the Field Spell and Concealing Light, because then I can later use Z1. So, that's the main deck. Side deck, pretty much ignore it. I'm still working with some of the ratios. If anything that I'm going to take out, I might take out the Recurring Knight. God, no, I don't want to do that. I might take out a Witch. I mean, a Snow Maiden. Maybe a Witch, too. It depends. It really does. Because I do like the Waboku in this deck. And I think that Waboku is a much better choice than Threatening Roar because, in this deck, because you get your flip effects. Which, I mean, not a lot of decks can say that they get that advantage. So I think you should run it where you can. And I also think Waboku is just kind of good this format. Waboku and Threatening War are both good because you get OTK'd a lot in this format. So onto the extra deck. My 2 level 6 synchros that I can make with Birdman. My 1 level 5 in case I get like Birdman and Snow Maiden or Witch. Or 2, I mean, you actually can make a lot of plays with Birdman. I'm thinking of running some more synchros. 1 Armory Arm, because Armory Arm, and you can make it. And Formula Synchron, because Valor. Formula Synchron also can help you go into this stuff. So, and it's a plus, so I like Formula Synchron. 1 Acid Golem, because 3,000, too good. 1 Leviathan Dragon, similar concepts. 2 Alucard, I don't feel you need the 3rd, because he can recycle himself if he needs it. And then you've got the, he doesn't have 0 defense, no, yeah. But you've got the Pot of Avarice to bring him back. 1 Zenmaines, because Zenmaines, I mean, I don't really want to run a Leviair. to get him back, like, I don't know, I just think it's too much resources for a play that probably isn't that powerful at that point. Because these are not super big power plays. They really aren't. This can turn out to be really helpful, but it really isn't a game ender. And I would run Leviathan if I had a bigger power play for level 6 synchros. But I don't. So, one Judge Buster. I don't know. I just have it. I don't think it's that fantastic. It's really weak, but I might as well. I don't know. I haven't had to make it yet, and I haven't had to make Herald of Sacred Light either. But I actually feel like this one could be useful. I don't know. Like, if I draw the Z1 and I want to get rid of it, I can use Herald of Sacred Light. I think that is pretty good. Gachi, because Gachi, I have rank 2s, and Gachi's it's basically the best rank 2. One Slacker Magician. Sometimes I wind up overlaying my Lanterns and Spectres, and I've even made it with Veiler occasionally. And then one Lionheart, which this is funny, because, I mean, really, it's almost a win condition sometimes. If you can't get your field spell up and you can't get your plays, Lionheart actually can save your day. It does so much effect damage. I don't know. Last resort sort of thing, but I think it's powerful enough to warrant running, and you can make it, so why not? So yeah, that's the deck. I really am having a lot of fun with it. I'm going to continue tweaking it around. Right here, I do like it how it sits right here, right now. If I find that I'm not drawing into enough of my core cards, I'll continue to move stuff around, but right now I'm really liking these ratios. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you get some idea of how to run the deck a little bit, or maybe you're interested in running this deck. Well, this is what I use. This is what you'll see me run, minus the needle sealing. I put that in like today, so I still have to know how that goes. But I think that it's good Yu-Gi-Oh! Needle sealing is, because you can still get your pluses off Spectre if you have it in hand. So yeah, join us next time. I'm probably going to be doing my next deck profile on my Machine Assault mode. So join us then. Thank you very much. See ya.